Hello,
Hello,
world.
world.
Hi,
Good
Matt.
morning, Chloe. How are you?
I'm great. I got full 8 hours of sleep last night, so I'm like, pew, 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 ready to go.
What? That's insane.
I know. It's so much sleep.
I mean, granted, you could have gotten a full 8 hours of sleep if you would have gone to bed at like 1, because the show's not till 9:30 now.
That's
So
true.
we pushed it back just
Yeah.
for that fact, right? So
Yeah.
that because I'm always like, oh, I'm going to do all the prep for my show early. And then as the week gets later and later and later, I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. I still need to do prep for the show. So that's really one of the main reasons we pushed the show back a half hour. So we could have a little bit of extra time.
Yeah. A little extra sleepy time.
Yeah. Well, hello, world, and good morning. It is September 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. It's like fall outside. Like it's starting to get a little cold in the mornings.
It is cozy season.
Cozy season is here.
I got my sweater. I wore a hat to walk the dog this morning.
What?
I love a good hat. A good knit cap, if you will.
A good knit cap. Yeah, I pulled out my like my winter hat or my warm weather or cold weather hat yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Because it's so cozy on my head. It looks like one of those old timey football helmets.
Has it got the ear flaps?
Yeah, it's got a couple little ear flaps that come down on it.
Wow.
Yeah, I also have one of those big hats with the big flaps that come down, and it's got rabbit fur on it. That's one of the only reasons why I don't really wear it, because that and it was a lost and found hat. So I found it in a lost and found, and I was like, I really want this hat. Yeah, no, I know it's gross.
Did you watch
it? Gross.
Did you?
I did.
It?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I've had it for many years, and I've yet to get scabies from it. So I think,
thank goodness.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you've had it this long and nothing bad has happened,
yeah, right,
then it's not diseased or cursed.
No, it just needed a new home. I look at it kind of like a Brave Little Toaster situation.
Yeah,
right. Like that hat was so sad.
Oh,
that it had lost its owner. It needed someone to.
Oh my gosh, Matt. I feel bad for inanimate objects all the time.
Sometimes.
I do. I'm like, oh, this poor. Oh no.
Oh, it was one. It was one. That's really. I was hoping it was fake, and then I looked at the tag, and it was like real rabbit fur, and I was like, oh, that poor rabbit.
That poor rabbit.
Then I thanked the rabbit.
Yeah, you have to thank. That's one of the tenets of Con Marie. So Marie Kondo, the life-changing magic of tidying up.
I was just trying to figure out her name. Remember her name the other day.
Yeah, it is.
I'm really sorry that I said the word scabies first thing in the morning. But people really latched onto it.
It's too early for that. But that's one of the things of with life-changing magic of tidying up. It's not about getting rid of things. It's about keeping the things you really love and then letting go of everything else. And part of it is that you have to thank the object, and when you release it into the world. And yeah. And then, if it goes to Goodwill and somebody else picks it up, I always have to think about that of somebody else is going to appreciate this more than me.
I love going to Goodwill. I have to be careful when I go to Goodwill because I want to buy so much of the junk.
Oh, really?
All the oh yeah, I mean, I've got a Mickey Mouse phone here. That
was a Goodwill purchase.
Was it? No, it was this was a white elephant gift. But I feel like they got it at a Goodwill. I don't feel like anybody.
I don't think they paid full price for that. Yeah.
They probably did.
That's the point of white elephant.
Yeah, but I was like, this is the best white elephant ever.
It's pretty good.
It is. It is. So, Chloe, how has your week been? How's it been going this week?
Oh, wow. Great. I went on a couple dates.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. What's it like dating in the time of COVID.
It's very weird, and it's going to get harder as it gets colder because people want to go. It's cuffing season, everybody.
It's what?
It's cuffing season. You got to lock down your bay before it gets too cold. You know, you have to get to know somebody well enough.
Oh, yeah, that's. I'm so glad that Mike and I are on the same page.
Come on, get with the
Carr,
time.
I want to thank Mike Carr. I feel like we sometimes forget to do that. I want to thank Mike Carr, who's our wonderful tech person. He wakes up early, is not even on camera, and he comes and does tech with us for our show.
Thank you so much for being confused and amazed at everything that I do.
Right, but please just give us a brief description of what cuffing season is.
Cuffing season. That's when you're trying to lock someone down.
Oh,
yeah. So you can be in a relationship, in a nice, comfy, cozy relationship for the winter.
Just for the winter, though.
Just for the winter, and then in the spring, just like check out what's around.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Raj Andelman.
Exactly.
Married guys are the worst. But I'm glad that there are people out there that know what you're talking about.
All the single ladies. Oh my gosh, I am honored to do so at all times.
I mean, I think, Chloe, that's why we work so well as co-hosts for the show. Is we offer two very different perspectives.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to have both.
Yeah,
just the two.
I got my first COVID test. I took my first COVID test.
Oh, how was it?
It was very uncomfortable. But yeah, not. Whoa, there it is. Well.
Oh no.
There it is. I just went on this big long tirade about how much I love Mike Carr, and then Mike Carr just yeah. So for those of you that didn't see that, we will be getting to that later. That was the answer to the trivia question.
Oh, no.
But that's all right. There's nothing really on the line. That's okay, Mike.
Quickly, Mike. We're gonna ask it very soon.
It's live. It's live. It's fine. But just know that if this were Kelly and Ryan, you would be fired. And we would replace you with parents. He's just gone rogue. He's just hitting buttons.
Oh
no. This is our.
What happened to your thumbs?
This is our mic. I don't know. I think his thumbs became sentient and are now running the show.
All right, I'm just going to explain real quick. I'm using a different computer. It's not a MacBook. It's an Asus, and the trackpad is weird. That's all. It's new to me.
Mike Carr is
that computer. I think that computer might be cursed. Mike, did you get that computer at Goodwill?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Revenge of the Trackpad. Absolutely.
I'm sorry that I messed up.
I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Julie. Oh, Julie's gonna hit him later. But this is is what the people want to see.
Yeah, this is it.
This is
live television, people. Anything can happen.
We should probably do our little fact of the day before we go completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Julie is the shiny Pokemon of Hello World. And now that we've seen her, we won't see her again for another 1,000 years.
Very rare Pokemon.
Is that how shiny Pokemon work? I don't really know how that works.
I think it was just a positive descriptor.
Okay, no, that is not how shiny Pokemon works.
Not how it works. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, no, and Boof Wellington is coming to Mike's defense.
It's true.
There, thank you, Boof.
Monsieur LeBouf.
Yeah, no, I completely get it, Mike. Computers are the worst.
Yeah.
But at least it works. Last week it didn't work, so this week at least it's working.
It's an improvement,
I guess.
All right.
Let's move forward, shall we?
Let's do the fact of the day. How about that?
Let's do the fact of the day. I love this fact of the day today, mainly because I love saying fun names, and this is our fact.
Okay.
In 1915, this day, 1915, Cecil Chubb bought the English prehistoric monument known as Stonehenge for £6,600. Which is, I looked this up, it was equivalent to, in today's dollar amount, it comes out to about $668,000. And Cecil Chubb is a real name. I looked it up I have the Wikipedia, the Wikipedia page open, and he was let's see here. Cecil Chubb was born in Shrewton, a village 4 miles west of Stonehenge. He was the last person to buy and own Stonehenge, and then he gave it to the English government 2 years later. So he owned it for like 2 years.
So somebody else owned it before. Who originally owned Stonehenge?
I mean, that's not the fact, Chloe. So I don't really do much in the way of research with these. Like, I don't do any deep dives or anything. But let's see. No,
it just seems strange, though, right? I mean, it's like someone owning a pyramid, like an Egyptian pyramid or the Sphinx. It's like
the Druids sold him Stonehenge. Actually, no. It says I read this. I just saw this here. It says Stonehenge was put up for auction in 1915 by the Antrobus family. So whoever they are, following the death in World War I of their only surviving male heir.
None of these names sound real.
Well, it's England.
That's true.
The names aren't.
It's a ridiculous country.
It's true. Now, normally I do the trivia question based on the fact, but today I did the trivia question based on the birthday. And today's birthday, one of today's birthday is Stephen King. It's his birthday today. So even though you probably already know the answer, go ahead and pull that. Stephen King, Bill Murray, and Faith Hill are birthdays today. And then the trivia question is, Stephen King co-authored a musical with which Midwestern rocker?
The Midwest rocks hard.
Yeah.
No coast.
Good morning, H2G Tuben. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, is my dad in the chat? Rachel is saying hello to Fear Dad, and I don't know if that is my dad watching. I mean, he very well could be. He's down in Florida, taking in the quarantine with my uncle. They actually have an apartment down there. Oh, Fear Dad meant Stephen King. Got it. That makes sense.
Oh, the father of fear.
The father of fear.
I get it now.
Which is also my dad. I'm a big Stephen King fan.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Oh, I started reading Stephen King when I was in like 8th grade, I think. I picked up a graphic novel called Cycle of the Werewolf, which they made the movie Silver Bullet out of, which Gary Busey's in that one.
Oh.
It's a good one.
Do you think
Papa of palpitations. All right, now it's just going to get weird. I did. I grew up calling him Good Morning, Fear Dad.
That's Mr. Fear Dad to you.
It's true. It's true. So that's our trivia question. Stephen King wrote a musical with someone. Who did he write that musical with? And we'll get into
I hope it's better than the Spider-Man musical.
I don't think it was, but I mean, that's a pretty high bar for bad. That Spider-Man musical, I don't know if you know anything about Into the Dark, but it almost killed a number of people. Turn off the dark. I'm sorry.
Several people. That That musical was cursed.
That musical was cursed.
The show of cursed things today.
And then evidently Carrie the musical didn't do too well either. So
3 shows.
I think you're spelling it wrong. That's the Drew Carey musical. It would be Carrie, I think would be the proper Carey for that.
Yeah, I don't know if a Drew Carey musical would go well. Jim Carrey musical would probably go pretty well. I watch that.
Yeah, until he started only calling himself Andy Kaufman, and then it would go a little off the rails.
Just a little bit. He does weird paintings now. They're scary.
Who Jim Carrey does?
Yeah.
We'll have to look those up. Let's go ahead and bring out our first guest. What do you say, Chloe?
Sounds good to me.
Wanna chat with some people here?
I love chatting. I love people and folks and such.
Well, why don't you introduce our first guest? This is a friend of yours, correct?
Yes. Everybody, please welcome to the show, Lucy Hubert. I hope I said your last name correctly.
You did.
Lucy, good morning.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Oh, so good. Lucy, I think before the show started, I said thank you for getting up early, and you said you had already been up for quite a while.
Yeah, I have a 4-month-old baby, so I'm up all the time, basically.
Congratulations! What's
Thank
the baby's name?
His name is Elliot.
Great name.
Elliot. I love that name.
Thanks.
So Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think.
I think of E.T. We do the E.T. thing to him a lot. We'll be like, Elliot.
That's pretty good.
And I'm sure as a 4-month-old baby, I'm sure he loves that.
Oh, he loves it. He's got a great sense of humor.
When he's 16 and you're still doing it, he's probably not going to care for it.
He's going to be like, what are movies? We just download information directly into our brains.
It's true. We haven't been able to go to a movie theater for 200 years.
Yeah. Yep. He's going to be 200 years old.
Well, I just figure, after a certain point, like the
People
age is just not going to matter anymore.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So Lucy, other than raising a small miniature human for the last 4 months,
in itself,
how have you how has quarantine been treating you?
I mean, it's been, I think, terrible. I think people keep saying like, oh, if you're gonna have a baby, quarantine is the time to do it. But I'm here to tell you that is not true.
Not true.
It's been a lot of, we can't have any visitors, so like none of my family has met the baby. Well, my mom has and my husband's mom have, but other than that, he's just been like FaceTiming with everybody.
He's going to have a very hard time distinguishing 2-dimensional faces versus 3-dimensional faces.
They have a 3rd dimension.
They moved in space.
Yeah. But yeah, so otherwise, it's been fine. I think like everyone else, I'm super bored and just want to go to a movie or do, like normal human being things.
Yeah. What have you been doing to kind of take up what free time or creative time that you have?
Yeah. So I'm the editor of the website McSweeney's. I'm one of the editors.
And you got that job after quarantine started, isn't that?
I got it right before quarantine started. Yeah. So I got hired. My first week was May 12th. So March 12th. So it was literally the first week of, actually my first meeting with my boss was, we were like supposed to meet in public and then they shut everything down and we couldn't meet and we had to meet over FaceTime. So I've never even met my boss.
Wow.
But it's been really great. Like I love, if you don't know McSweeney's, it's a satire website. So I do a lot of the editing there and that's basically the only thing I have time for besides taking care of a baby.
Oh, that's fantastic. So at least you're editing like entertaining and funny or satirical type things that are probably very entertaining to read. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And since the quarantine and the pandemic, our content has been, people have a lot of funny things to say about all of these things and the election. So it's been a ton of content. So it's been keeping me busy at least, for sure.
Yeah.
We have a question from the chat. Oh, I love this.
What's the biggest editing move you need to make? Most of my job is rejecting people. So we get probably like 100 submissions a day, and we only run 3 pieces a day. So
oh my gosh, 100
so
submissions.
It's a super high rejection rate. So if you've ever submitted to McSweeney's and been rejected, you're in good company. Like we reject almost everybody.
So what do you look for in something that you don't reject? Yeah, most of those are probably Rachel's. Like that, she says that. I think it's only partially a joke. So
so we're looking for basically something that has a good voice, a good voice. It's funny and is isn't rambly. And it is really focused. I think like the best pieces are the ones that are really focused. And I always tell people my favorite pieces are the ones that people are making fun of something they really love. So like the example I use is we had a piece a few weeks ago that I loved so much that was making fun of Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy. So it was like from the perspective of the girl he dumped in high school, the ballerina, and her being like, why are Avril, why are you writing this song about me? Why are you so obsessed with me? And it was so funny. And I think it was because the person who wrote the piece, like obviously at some point in her life, like really loved this Avril Lavigne song. And so was able to just like totally dismantle it and like make fun of it. I love, those are the pieces I love, where people are like making fun of something they actually really love.
Oh, I love that.
I always love that too. I mean, because you have to, in order to create good satire, you have to have a deep understanding of the thing you're making fun of.
Yeah.
Like jokes about things that somebody doesn't like and doesn't understand, like don't hit the same way.
Yeah, you have to be like super acquainted with the thing. Otherwise it's like, it just sounds, like anyone can make jokes about like, the obvious jokes about things, but like someone who really loves something is going to know like the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have enough of like self-awareness that they know that they can make that you can make fun of yourself. Or you can make, that's always a very good thing to have, right? You don't want to take yourself too seriously.
Never.
Have you ever gotten like, has anyone gotten like really upset with you for like, have you gotten anything like you rejected their thing and
I can answer both of these questions, the chat question and so I have only gotten one really angry person, and basically they listed like 10 classic authors. They were like, I'm a better writer than Hemingway. I'm a better writer than Faulkner. I'm a better writer than, and like and he's like, and I can't believe you wouldn't accept me on your stupid website.
So it was a man?
Of course, it's always a man. I'm sorry, but it's always a man who gets angry. But yeah, so we definitely get a lot of people who get angry, and it's usually like immediately defensive, like immediately like, well, your website's terrible. And I'm like, well, you're the one who submitted to us.
How many views does your website have, pal?
But then the other question, if we've gotten any that make people really mad, I'd say every single piece makes somebody mad. But the one that I got in my career so far since March that has gotten the most angry emails was I published one about breastfeeding. And it was about lactation consultants and like how ridiculous lactation consultants can be. And man, I got some angry emails from...
Really?
Oh my gosh, yes. People were pissed. They were like, people want to tell you to breastfeed. People just want to yell at everybody about breastfeeding. And they want to tell you you're wrong for not breastfeeding. And it's funny because I actually am breastfeeding right now. And so like, not right now.
I mean,
currently, no, but just in general. And so like, I think people wrote me these emails being like, you don't understand. Like, I'm sure you're like a childless woman. I'm like, I'm literally currently breastfeeding while I'm reading this email.
Like, what a strange you're a childless woman.
Yeah, like you could never understand the deep connection between a mother and their baby. I'm like holding my baby.
like it's so, oh my gosh, it's so strange to me because it's like, if you're a mom, like there are some things that are better practices than others, but at the same time, it's like you have to get through it the way that you can get through it. And breastfeeding is not easy. Like I work at a women's gym. Actually, Lucy used to work the front desk there as well.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask how you two met, but we can talk about that after your story.
Yeah.
But it's, I've had a lot of clients that have gotten pregnant, had babies, like coworkers and stuff like that. And like, there's a lot of things that don't come up until you're actually pregnant, and then you discover, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I have to deal with this now. But like breastfeeding is not always easy. So like, there are a lot of things that can go wrong with it. And so it's like, would you rather your baby starve or just give them formula?
Well, and like even if you are doing it and you love it, like you have to be able to make fun of it. Like it's funny. Like there are so many funny things about like the way, like it's just funny. Like you have to be able to make fun of it. Like otherwise, I don't know how people get through having a baby if they aren't able to like make fun of their baby or make fun of the ridiculous things you have to do. It's like it's so hard.
Was that you that ordered the oh, by the way, Lucy has an incredible Twitter everyone should follow. But you tweeted about the lactation cookies, right?
Oh yeah, so I ordered these lactation cookies, but that are supposed to like make you produce more milk, and they sent me this email being like, good for you, you're breastfeeding when other people would give up, like all this stuff. And I wrote them back and I was like, it's really nice to write an email to people who order this, but also like, I don't know if that language is like super like inclusive, because like some people might order these and then be like, fuck it, this doesn't work, I'm not going to breastfeed anymore, I guess I'm a failure. And so then they wrote me back and they were like, sorry we offended you, and they canceled my order.
Like, give me the damn cookies.
They didn't send me the cookies. I was like, God damn it.
Like, we'll show her to write us an email.
Yeah.
No cookies.
I really wanted the cookies too. I was like, the one good thing about breastfeeding is like the solution is that you get to eat cookies.
Speaking of your Twitter, what is your Twitter handle? We want to make sure.
It's at CL Hubes. So the letter C, the letter L, and then HUBES.
HUBES?
Yeah.
At CL
Hubes.
Follow Lucy
follow me on Twitter.
on the Twitter.
I have nothing to do, so I tweet all day long.
And they're very good. One of my favorite things that you tweet about is this incredibly
don't tell them they're for me. They have to be on some sort of blacklist.
One of the things that I really love that Lucy tweets about is there's this Instagram account that does New England photography, and they're supposed to be they're like heavily photoshopped, like obviously heavily photoshopped, and he denies it. And
he totally denies it.
Manipulation.
It's like he'll like Photoshop a bunny into a field. Like he'll like take a photo and then he'll Photoshop like a fake bunny. And he'll be like, oh, it was so great that there were bunnies there. And like, there weren't. You put that in there. Like,
those are obviously
he's
like, are they bunnies like covered in snow, or
so he does these like, he does really stylized like seasonal photo shoots. So he'll have like his snow photos, his like spring photos, his fall photos, and they're, I think from what I understand, they used to be pretty much just like like straight regular photography, and like something snapped, and he like it like wasn't enough for him, and so he started photoshopping these like crazy images of like you'll look at it, it'll be like a New England like fall day, but everything is like, he's like photoshopped it so it's like bright orange, bright red. There's like leaves falling in front of the photo. There's like 50 pumpkins everywhere, and you're like, this is not realistic. But what I think is so funny about it is that no, he won't admit that he's photoshopping it, and all the comments are like, beautiful, New England in the fall, oh my God, gotta go. And he'll be like, he responds to all of them, and he'll be like, yep, it's so beautiful here. Like, this is what it looks like in Rhode Island. And I'm like,
but he deletes the people that are like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he has to delete the bad ones, because there's never any comments that are like, I'm in Rhode Island right now, and there aren't like 100 daffodils around me.
Like, what part of Rhode Island are you going to?
Yeah. I love him. I'm obsessed with him. I don't think he knows that he's my nemesis, though. I wish he knew.
I mean, if you'd like, you could call him out on the show. I mean, I'm always down for that. I mean,
We're gonna bring him on the show.
I'll see if he wants to come on. Yeah, I think he was like the first Instagram influencer. I think basically he like got on that influencer train really early. So he's like way too powerful. I could never take him.
No, yeah.
His powers grow too great.
Now he knows. You're right. He probably does. Can I just tell you, that is that was, I think, one of my favorite parts of the whole Fire Festival documentary, is watching all these people that are influencers just get like super mad and be, I think was probably one of my favorite parts of that whole.
I'm obsessed with Fire Festival. I watched both those documentaries in the same day, I think.
Oh, they were so good.
They were so good.
And you just sit there and you're like, how did this happen? Like, how are people like,
let it happen?
They let it happen.
I love the idea that they just didn't do any work. Like, it's like if you did a project, like when you like do a school project and you're like, oh, I'll do it in the morning. I'll do it tomorrow night. I'll stay up late and do it. And you just like keep not doing it. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I didn't do it. But like, imagine doing that for an entire festival. That's what they
that's
did.
Pretty much how I got through college is doing
they just didn't do it. I love it so much.
Yeah. And and you just feel, you watch that, and while you're enjoying watching all these Instagram influencer people get like just totally distraught and everything, like and then I get so sad watching like the people that live there and are like, they're like, oh, we're gonna give you this money to do this, and then, oh, we're not giving you any money. It's just like, ugh.
Well, I think at the end of what did I watch? I think I watched the Netflix one. At like the end of it, they're interviewing one of the guys one of the workers that was on the island. And like, while they're interviewing him, he gets a call from Billy McFarland, and he's like talking to him. And I was like, why would you still talk to that man? Yeah. He's terrible.
Yeah.
It was, those it's just so crazy.
I just love thinking about that cheese sandwich. I think about it every day. But like it was supposed to be like luxury food, and then it was just like a piece of brown bread with like one piece of cheese on it.
Yeah. Like so Kraft singles.
And it was like a little salad too, right? It was
like a little, I love it so much.
The lettuce,
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that I didn't. I was gonna go.
I feel sad that I didn't even know about it. No one even told me. Like I obviously wasn't cool enough to be invited to Firefest.
Rachel, I think honestly, I would, if we could go back in time, I would want to send you to Firefest so that we could just get. You would have done the documentary, and that would have
inside.
From the inside. Oh man! Well, Lucy, thank you so much.
Do with time travel.
What?
That's the most important thing you could do with time travel.
The most important thing is to go back and go to Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Just like stash a boat so you can get off the island, right?
Yeah.
And then be like, hey, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Lucy, thank you so much for coming today. Do you have anything you'd like to plug? Do you have anything going on right now, or?
Really just my Twitter. I'd love if people follow me on Twitter. It's my whole life right now. And read McSweeney's, McSweeney's.net. We post 3 satire articles a day, and submit if you have some funny stuff, and I'll look out for it.
Yeah, and now you see the face that is going to be reading your article if you're submitting. So
I'm very nice. I try to write nice rejections. So,
well, I mean that's nice.
That's good.
You know,
I genuinely appreciate everyone's effort, except the mean people.
Yeah, those mean people, they can get out of here.
Yeah.
So definitely check out CL Hubes on Twitter and follow and submit something to McSweeney's and be kindly rejected. Lucy, thanks so much. If you can stick around, we might bring you back on. We'll probably bring you on at the end when we talk about what people are watching now. So
okay, cool.
Stick around. But I understand you have a small human.
Well, my husband actually took him on a walk, so I should be okay.
Oh, amazing.
Wonderful.
See you a little bit later in the show.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much. See you later. Oh man, the stuff that she must have to read through.
Yeah.
Like I wonder like the restraint that it has to take to not take those like rejections and just put them in in its own book or a blog of them, you know, like
I had a teacher, a poetry teacher at University of Iowa who used to work as an editor for a literary magazine. And he was telling us about how there was one time that like somebody submitted like a piece of historical fiction. It was like Civil War historical fiction. And he was reading through it and he's like, oh, this is pretty good. And then all of a sudden it was just like hardcore Civil War erotic just out of nowhere.
Just
it's like did you think they weren't going to read the whole thing and you were just going to kind of like slide in
some Civil War fanfic, which is the worst type of fan, like
probably the worst type of fanfic.
The last thing I want to read is Civil War erotica. It just doesn't. I mean, that doesn't speak to me, but that's just me. Like I understand, there's all kinds of people.
If somebody else is into it, that's fine.
And
so
good
weird,
good.
But I'm
for
not
them.
here to yuck anybody's yum.
Absolutely not. Speaking of yum, thank you, Mike, for posting this on the bottom. I very rarely mention this, and I feel like we should. So before the pandemic, you know, I used to work for, I still do. I'm still technically employed by them, a company called Red Barn Coffee Roasters. They're right here in Massachusetts, just right outside of Boston, and they ship anywhere in the country. So if you go onto Red Barn Coffee Roasters.com, or I think it's just redbarncoffee.com. You can do a online order. You put in the code Hello World. You save 15% on your entire order, and they will ship it right to you. I placed an order this morning. Very excited to have their flavored coffees are unbelievable. I've got pistachio and 2 different kinds of hazelnut coffee coming my way. And then I'm going camping this weekend, so I got a bag of the Red Barn coffee to put in my new camp percolator that I also bought. I bought like one of those like campfire percolators, and this is the stuff that I get like for camping. And look at this!
Ooh,
look at this lantern.
That's pretty good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I bought that for camp. I'm just I'm so excited to go. I'm just ready to get out of everything and unplug for like 4 days.
Yeah, camping is big right now.
Yeah, and since the beginning of July when we started 2MB Studios, I've been pretty much glued to my computer for 4 months, putting out content and getting stuff put together. So it's going to be nice to step away for a few days. Speaking of content, we have a new segment that we've started called YouTubing, which I enjoy very much. And this is where Chloe and I each pick a YouTube video to show the other that they haven't seen before.
Yes.
So I went on a don't make coffee in the lantern. Don't worry, I won't. It will be, but thanks for the tip, Booth. I don't go camping that often, so that's a nice tip to have. I'm very excited for this clip and to show Chloe. So Chloe, here is. I don't know if you. Okay, so there's hippos are the coolest. Oh, look at this hippo. You know what hippos love? Watermelons.
What?
Not like a slice of watermelon, a whole watermelon. He's like, yeah, look at that. Give me that.
Anticipation is coming.
He's ready to go. Just put that watermelon just right in there.
Wow, look how weird his teeth are.
I know, right?
The teeth placement is very strange.
Oh my god.
So that the person in the background said it best. Oh my god. He just with ease. Chloe, your face is why I do this. So yeah. So that's hippos eating watermelon. Oh, that's a little watermelon. That's gonna be easy.
Little guy. Little guy.
Big fan of the animal videos. I could sit and go down the rabbit hole of animal videos all day.
All day. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. I was trying to find something that didn't make me cry. Like a lot of like things on like on the dodo, they just kind of make me kind of tear up a little bit. Like the pig, like the one last week of the pig and the dog, like the being best friends.
That's gonna make you for sure
a little bit
tear up just a little bit.
Great. So do you have a video, Chloe?
Oh,
if you don't, that's fine. We'll bring on our next guest.
Hold on.
Oh, we have one.
All right, I gotta send this real quick.
Oh,
sorry,
Chloe. It's.
I'm behind.
That's all right. That's all right. So Chloe's gonna be sending a video to Mike, who is.
Wait.
Oh, Amy. Good morning, Amy.
Hello.
Yeah, you don't have to win it on a game show, but you could if you're. Also, I guess while we're talking this out, let's talk about other shows that are coming on today. Tonight is Run On, and we're well into the third season of Run On. Tonight we've got Anthony Zonfelli coming back for a third night. He's unstoppable currently. Hopefully that will come to it. Hopefully his reign will come to an end this evening. And then after that, we've started a new show last week with Kelly McFarland called Genuine Nonsense. And that show is just a delight. I don't know if anyone caught it last week. I did because, Monday is my day that I pretty much just stream all day. Not really, but most of the evening. And Kelly's show is just wonderful. So check that out tonight at 10 o'clock. Nobody is really happy that Anthony is winning, but that's all right. He's one of the boy detectives. And Chloe, I've stopped being able to hear you.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, no, there we go. Wonderful.
There we are.
Oh, and good morning, Amanda. Amanda's watching the show. Good morning, Marissa. So many wonderful people in the chat right now. Love that you all decided to start your week off with us. So let's see. Okay, Chloe put it in the chat. There we go. We're gonna have a video from Chloe here in a minute.
This one goes out to all the teachers who are going back to school right now.
Hey, so as some of you guys might know, I'm a music teacher, and I found that one of the best ways that I can process the whole transition to online learning and teaching is to write a song. So I wrote a song. I'd like to sing it to you guys now. Here we go.
Oh, I had not seen that.
So that came out actually like at the beginning of lockdown. But it's, it's relevant again.
Yeah, it's 100% relative. In fact, that's going to be, sorry, Romy, but that's the new Hello World theme song. We're just going to have people make a cover of that and that's what we're going to wake up to on Monday mornings.
I love that it's just like, it's so nice, and you get the chord progression, and you're like, oh, it's going to be a fun little song.
And then it's not.
And then it's just screaming.
It's just screaming.
Shout out to all the teachers out there.
Yeah, oh my God.
Shout out to all the
teachers. If any teachers are watching right now, then thank you for not going to school. Or if you're watching this while you're at school, great. I mean, we support you.
We support this.
Let's thanks you teachers. Yes.
This is an official statement from Hello World.
Yes. Let's do some more birthdays. We did today's birthdays, but let's do this week's birthdays.
Let's do it.
Because there's some good ones this week. Tuesday, Anne of Cleves. If you are familiar with the musical Six, she was one of the wives of Henry VIII. That her picture was not. She did not look enough like her portrait for Henry to keep her as a wife. So they got picture. But you know what? She ended up okay.
Really?
She wasn't one of the off with your head ones. She actually, and of course, everything I've learned of Anne of Cleves has been from the musical Six. I just want to make that 100% clear. One of my favorite songs. One of my favorite songs in the musical. Anne of Cleves is, I think, one of my favorite characters in that. Also, Billie Piper has a birthday on Tuesday. Billie Piper, for those of you that don't know, was on Doctor Who. She was one of the companions of Doctor Who, quite possibly one of the most popular ones, I think, of the first of when they brought Doctor Who back. Rose Tyler. Yes, I was blanking on that. Thank you, Mike. Let's see. Wednesday, we have Ray Charles's birthday and Bruce Springsteen. Very musical birthdays on Wednesday. Thursday, Jim Henson. I just put Jim Henson on there because he's R.I.P. Love Jim Henson. Friday, Michael Douglas, Mark Hamill, and Christopher Reeve. Also, just wonderful people there for their birthdays on Friday. So yeah, those are your birthdays this week.
Those are the birthdays.
Do you know anybody whose birthday is coming up this week?
Well, I did have, so my date on Saturday, it was his birthday. It was our first date, birthday date.
And he paid. But I mean, if you're gonna go out on a date, if you're gonna go out on a first date on your birthday, you should expect to pay.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know him like that yet.
Right. Like, I don't know you. I'm not going to buy your dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe now, but it'll be a great story if a year from now, at his next birthday, if you're dating.
It'll be great if it works out. I guess so. So I guess on my birthday, I have to pay for dinner.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. When is your birthday again, Chloe?
It's in November.
Oh, so it's coming up.
It's coming up.
So you have to decide if you're going to want to continue on with. I'm sure you will probably make that decision before November anyway.
If I'm going to want to have to pay for my own dinner. Yeah, that's the big question there.
We won't get into too much about that because who knows? He might be watching, and I don't want you to give. He's a big fan of the show. I can't wait to start. Like that's a phrase that I love saying. He's a big fan of the show.
Big fan.
Speaking of big fans of the show, I'd like to bring out our next guest, who I am a big fan of the Clo. Yeah, that's most likely what people say about the show. Well, I'm aware. So let's bring out our next guest. Our next guest, you probably have not seen her on the screen because she's very busy doing the doodles in Once Upon a Doodle. She is a doodler. Let's bring on Rebecca Bishop.
Yay.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, world.
Welcome.
You've been wanting to say that all morning.
I've been waiting. You know, I'm sitting on the floor. My butt has gone numb, and I'm ready for anything.
Yeah.
I should put that in the email.
The birthday segment should include me. Today is my quarter birthday.
Oh.
Do you want to hear the quarter birthday song?
I would love to. I mean, yes.
Obviously.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
and legally, we're not allowed to sing any more of it.
Yeah. It's a quarter of the song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you say it 4 times.
Yep.
Look at that.
Chloe's mind just been blown.
Yep. But I was entertained while watching the first part of the show as well. I think I'm getting feminist catfished or like scammed, but they know I'm a feminist. Like I got an email that like wants me to be a part of the women, the Boston women leaders, but like the email doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, either they know that I would love that and they're trying to kidnap me, or it's a real thing. So I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Interesting.
What's the email address that it comes from?
Why? Because if you know them, that'd be great. It says, oh, also they signed it faithfully, Shelley K. Fitzgerald.
Wow.
Faithfully.
What a
And the email, it's shellyf@bostonwomenleaders.com. So theoretically, that's legit.
Mm-hmm. Theoretically, yeah.
Leaders. I
do a little research and definitely don't go in, especially if they ask you to go to a second location.
Well, and they were like,
don't do
that. Go by web for safety. So,
what was that? What
they said they're meeting by web for safety. So, I don't know how much they can steal my kidney online, but
you'd be surprised how easily someone could steal a kidney over the internet.
Yes, well, that's what they didn't teach us in Dare.
Dare was it wasn't keeping up with the times,
Nope.
No.
I remember one of our entire classes in Dare was to just write insults to people who tried to make us do drugs. And I think that's when I became a comedian.
Do you remember your favorite insult?
I absolutely do. I think about this 100%.
Let's role play this a little bit, Rebecca. I'm going to try to give you drugs.
Okay.
Okay, and you react.
Role playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
You want some drugs?
No, I don't want some drugs. You can go suck an egg.
You're right. My life is garbage and I should change everything.
I just want to point out that this was in, 5th grade. And after I said the words, go suck an egg, every other kid in the class just started saying, go suck an egg. Like that was the thing.
And that's when you knew that you were an influencer.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you started the fire festival for your junior high Dare class.
Yep.
You're like, hey, everybody, let's go to a concert on a beautiful island.
That class changed your life.
Yep. Not in the way they expected, but.
So, Rebecca, you do the doodles.
I do the doodles.
Now you weren't in the show yesterday. We had Bridget subdoodling, and
Yes.
she was amazing. It was a really fun show yesterday.
I'm so lucky that like she is also can keep up with everything that's going on, because it's been, I mean, we essentially have invented this format, and it's like a super exciting thing to be able to explore, but it's also just like there is so much going on when you're doing the show, like when you're drawing, that you're just furiously trying to make happen.
Yeah, it's amazing to me as someone, like, I tech that show, so I sit and I watch the show while everything happens, and the speed at which people are talking and layering things on, to which you are trying to then like listen to that and put that onto paper while we're watching it happen, is really just an amazing thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, let's for people who haven't seen the show, let's do a little. What is the format?
So it's essentially a Spokane, which in improv vernacular is like a kind of structure for a show where you have a central scene with usually 2 characters, and then every offshoot scene from that provides history or context for kind of the emotional intensity of what's happening in the central scene. And like through this context, you kind of come to understand more about them, and this usually leads to like a big, you know, exciting resolution. Or it doesn't have to be exciting. Sometimes it's just really touching, whatever it needs to be. And it's a wonderful format for storytelling, because everything has already happened, but you're learning more about it as you go.
Mm-hmm. And what's amazing to me is how quickly you go from drawing to drawing. So it basically starts. Rebecca's got a pad of paper, and as you draw the first scene, and then as other scenes happen, you go to different pages. But then they sometimes go back to scenes that they've done, and Rebecca has to keep all that in her head as you. It's really amazing to watch.
Sometimes it works, and then other times it is it's a little bit of me just like, where was it? my favorite thing that happens is when because like you said, people are just talking so quickly that like someone will say something as I've drawn the thing that they're talking about, and it's different things. And so I have to either like try to change it, or like they're like, yes, of course, I meant the hat that is a dog. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then you do these things called traps.
I do.
Tell us about those.
So
because they're my favorite.
Probably the most fun. Like, not that I don't love furiously trying to illustrate what's happening, but before the show, I will try to set traps for the cast. I call them traps because you don't expect them, and then you're stuck in them. Because I will either illustrate a scenario, like a setting, or I'll add a character that's like hidden pages back. You know, so we'll be doing the show and doing the show and doing the show, and then all of a sudden I'll reveal that the next character somehow has to involve a man dressed in a popsicle suit. Or my favorite ones are traps that like reveal themselves during the course of that scene. So I'll do like a door that will open and something will be behind it. Or, you know, last show that I did, we had a mud pit that like had a little snake poking out of it, but then you realize the snake is very long and it can come out all the way out because I made it on a separate piece of paper, and it's infinite fun for me to try and plan ways to make things move around.
And then I love that that's something to throw the improvisers too, because it's usually just them like coming up with things and then you having to do that. So it's nice that you have that opportunity to also throw in your own little kind of suggestions and things to the show.
Yeah, because it is somewhat of a wonderful dynamic communication between myself and the improvisers. They have to draw they have to talk about what I draw, and I have to draw what they talk about. But you're right, it is easier to speak really quickly than it is to draw really quickly, and so less of the time I get to draw like an entire thing before they've talked about something. So the traps are definitely an opportunity for me to put my own spin on it.
Yeah. Now you weren't there yesterday because you said you were making a movie.
Yeah.
What was that about?
So I was contacted randomly. Speaking of being catfished, when someone from backstage reached out to me and they were like, "Do you want to be in my film?" And this is like it so easily could have been very creepy, but oh, I hear the echo now. That's so strange. He just like is a hobby filmmaker and has always wanted to try making little short films, and recently he has gotten more into it. He always thought that like you had to have a bunch of money and know all these people, and you don't. You can just go on backstage and find crew and find actors and make your dreams come true. And so he wanted to make this little short film in Brighton, and he wanted me to be the lead female character because apparently I listed juggling as one of my skills on backstage, and he needed someone who could juggle.
Were you able to back that claim up?
Yeah, I absolutely was.
Okay, good.
Like, there's a difference between knowing how to juggle and then like being good at juggling.
Yeah.
And I had this whole practice schedule laid out the week before, and I just like did not have time to get to it. I was in juggling club in college, which is something that I will freely admit, and it was
and that's a
very
thing.
cool.
At the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, where I lived before I moved to Boston, there was a juggling club, and I got to know them doing like these variety shows and things, and I would go to them and get people to come and juggle for the show. And I went to one of their rehearsals, and it literally is. It's just bunch of people in a big, huge rec center while people are like running track and doing other things. There's just people in the middle, just
juggling away. Well, the best thing about it is that like we wanted everyone to come and stop by, and people are always like, "Oh, I could never juggle," and it seems very difficult, but it's just like it clicks in your brain at some point. You spend 30 minutes kind of tossing the balls. You start with one and then you go to two, and then at some point you just figure it out, and it's not that hard. Like I truly believe. I know it sounds bad, but I believe that anyone could juggle. Oh, yes, that is a good question. I did Juggle Club along with a lot of other activities, being a theater major, and but it's just like it's such a nice opportunity to be around people, and any activity that allows you to just focus on something is very meditative for me. Okay, so.
Respectfully disagree. I used to be able to do the juggle the two balls like just with like
one
this.
hand. Yeah.
And that was fun. But I could never I could never add the third item, or because I tried it with bean bags.
Yeah.
Because they're a little bit.
That's actually a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so the one-hand double ball thing juggling is how you do 4-ball juggling. And I could never add the left hand. I could get 2 in one hand, and then I couldn't ever. This meat stick attached to my arm. It does nothing.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you there. Fantastic. Do you have I see Mike is actually I can see Mike, nobody else can, but he's actually trying to juggle right now. He's so good.
He's got one. He's got one.
He's doing it. See? What did I say? Anyone.
Anybody.
Anyone can juggle.
So Rebecca, Once Upon a Doodle has an Instagram, yes, where people can go and see like past episodes and drawings and things.
Well, and especially it's where we feature some drawings from rehearsals, which people don't get to see.
Oh, nice.
And some of the rehearsal drawings are even weirder than the show ones. Can you believe it?
You know what? I can. I can believe that. And what is that? What is that Instagram for our wonderful viewers out there?
Oh, gosh, it is probably Once Upon a Doodle Prov. Oh no, it's just Doodle Prov.
Doodle Prov.
I was not prepared for this.
Doodle Prov.
DOODLEPROV.
Yeah, I asked the hard questions.
Lovely.
That's the tough question.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can go check all of that out, follow that, and then Once Upon a Doodle every Sunday at 6 right here on 2MB Studios. It's great. Next week I'm going to be coming in hot from camping, just straight Sunday. We're leaving Sunday morning, coming back, and I'm going to be running shows. So things might get weird on Sunday. I don't know. Depends on how much sleep I've gotten over the 4 days that we've been camping.
The good thing is with improv is that weirdness is just an opportunity.
It's very true. Oh, and Marissa says that they have a YouTube as well. So check Once Upon a Doodle out on the YouTubes.
Excellent.
Yeah, that would be it's such a wonderful show. I'm so glad that we are showing it on the channel, and it's really fun to sit and watch and just to make that happen. And we also have a couple of Rebecca's drawings that are going to be of Chloe and myself, which I can't wait to get. She showed us some prototypes. Is that what they call it? What do you call them? Drafts.
Mock drawings, drafts. Yeah.
Mock-ups. Yes, I love that. Of Chloe and I, and we looked good.
We looked really good.
I think drawing Matt looks better than regular Matt.
Well, it's just like in the olden times where if you made an unflattering picture of someone, they would execute you.
It's true.
Can't trust an old portrait.
Very, very true. We do have we've started doing like a little Photoshop thing. So we're just, and I'm going to leave you on screen for this, Rebecca, because we're going to be doing a Hello World Photoshop challenge, which is so much fun.
Yes.
Chloe had posted a couple of pictures on her Facebook. Let's show them. Mike, could we show the pictures that she posted? The original.
Let's show the original, just the one where I'm sitting in the tree. Yeah.
So there's this wonderful picture. So like that is a portrait right there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and then there's this one, the next one here. Look at that corn. Look how tall that corn is.
Yeah. It's higher than an elephant's eye, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Chloe posted those pictures to be to show off these pictures and show off how wonderfully photogenic she is. And then, of course, as the internet is the internet, people decided that it would be fun to Photoshop.
So the one in the tree, I specifically, I loved that picture and I loved taking that picture, but I felt like it was a little bit silly for me to be like sitting in a tree and like looking up like, wow, what a magical world, when I was only like 2.5 feet off the ground.
Right.
So I asked people to Photoshop me a little bit higher than 2.5 feet off the ground. And so this is what we got.
How did you get in that tree?
And also, the proportions, I'm a giant in this picture.
There is a giant. And you are a giant in that picture.
An Amazonian goddess.
Exactly.
Yes. And then there was this one that was, pretty high off the ground there.
Yep.
With that skiing, love it. And then the last one, very artsy.
Yeah, like above the mountains.
Above the mountains.
There I am.
In the clouds.
Yeah.
So I've just Chloe and I talked and we decided we're just going to make this a segment.
Yeah.
So we're going to post a couple of pictures on our Facebook page at 2MB Studios on Facebook. And I went through and found a couple of pictures of myself that I'll put in there. Chloe will put a couple, or we've still got those pictures. You can use those pictures.
Yeah.
We will. Yes, this was very much also Rachel's. Rachel really wanted us to do a Photoshop segment. But luckily, I mean, I was into it. I didn't need much convincing. And if you feel so inclined, internet, feel free to have some Photoshop fun with those pictures, and if we like them and if they're appropriate.
They have to be appropriate.
It's 9:30 in the damn morning on a Monday.
It's a low cussing show.
It's a low cussing show. Unless you're from England, and then you can drop the F-bomb as many times as you want.
Because it just sounds so elegant.
It sounds so much better that way. So we will feature that. Hi, Cuffin.
Cuffin season, baby.
That's our new tagline. Rebecca, I'm going to keep you on. We're actually going to bring in the damn is an okay swear word. I think.
It's mild.
It's still low cussing. Let's bring Lucy back on. We're just going to do a little Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
How's the green room?
Oh, it's great.
I do also want to point out that Lucy and I have the same cabinet. We're sitting in front of the same cabinets.
It's so beautiful.
Up to the it's crazy. So we do a little segment called "What You Watching," where we talk about things that we're binging right now, or maybe something you're really into. It doesn't have to necessarily be a show or a movie. It could be like a book if you're
a book series.
You're into books.
Read words on a page. I don't know.
I'm so embarrassed to say that my reading, like I haven't been reading nearly as much as I probably should, because I do. I watch my shows. So what you watching? What are people watching these days?
I have been very hooked on The World's Most Extraordinary Homes. It's like an architecture travel show on Netflix, and with these two British hosts, and they just take you to these incredible, artistic, gigantic. They're so weird. The homes are so weird and different, and it's really exciting to see the different architectural briefs and challenges. And it's the cool part is that it can be really relaxing if you want to fall asleep watching it, but if you don't, then it's very engaging if you like artistic houses. So that's
British people could host anything, and I would watch it.
Absolutely.
Like, if it was hosted by two British people, I would watch it 100%.
Yeah, and they have like a cute dynamic. It's lovely.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then but I have been reading a book though. Also.
Oh, definitely.
I'm trying to read more, just like the rest of us at all times. And I'm reading Mike Birbiglia's The New One.
I want to read that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He is such a good writer. And the cool thing is that so it's his kind of perspective and story on like not wanting to be a dad. Like he didn't want to have kids, and now he is a dad and has a kid. And so it's kind of like the journey therein. And what's cool is that the stories are interspersed with his wife's poetry.
Oh,
So
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his
love
Broadway
that.
show of the Netflix version of his Broadway show of that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I love Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
A huge fan of Mike Birbiglia's
He's so
stand-up.
funny.
But I can only imagine that his writing would be amazing. Yes, you're right, Quarantine Action Wrestling. If Brits hosted this show, it would be called Hello.
Hello, world.
Hello. Hello, puppet.
I don't understand. What's turfs in the surf? I don't know what that is. And how do you know that I would not enjoy it? I mean, Rachel knows me pretty well, so I mean,
Yeah.
probably. I don't know if it's terrifying or.
I think it's probably a reference to J.K. Rowling and her recent shenanigans, but we don't have to get into that.
No, yeah.
Speaking of shows with British hosts, has anyone watched The Great Flower Fight?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen. Is that the one where they have to make the crazy flower sculptures? And
Yes.
the wonderful people from I think they're from the Netherlands. The guy.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, I love them so much.
So good. Yeah, so it's teams of two, and it's all people who are like florists or landscapers, but none of them have actually done like flower sculptures before. So they're all it's all like a fish out of water type situation, and they build these beautiful structures. And like the challenge would be like, oh, you have to make a fashion dress with flowers, or you have to make a sculpture that speaks to this topic, or we're making dinosaurs today. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Because they do things with plants that you didn't know they could do.
The very first episode is bugs.
Yes.
And the bugs, they make these just massive insects that also have little insects like buzzing around them, because they're all like live sculptures, which is just amazing.
Yeah. And the personalities, there are a couple of big personalities. So the Dutch team that Matt was talking about, they always show up. They're the most extra team. They always show up with all these accessories and hats, and like one of the guys, his hair is a different color every time. It's incredible. Like the amount of work that has to go into just his outfit is staggering.
Lucy, what are you watching right now?
Well, the funny thing about having a baby is in the beginning, I had so much time to watch TV because I was just on the couch breastfeeding for hours a day. But now the baby started to pay attention to the TV, so I can't really watch as much. So I've been watching one show a day, and I have been getting really into. Have you guys? So I'm watching one episode of Scrubs every day, and then I've been listening to. They have over quarantine. They've been doing a Scrubs rewatch podcast with. What's his name? Donald Faison and Zach Braff are rewatching all of the Scrubs episodes, and I've never been a big fan of rewatch podcasts because it's usually people who aren't on the show doing it. But to listen to people who are actually in the show doing the rewatch podcast, it's a great podcast. Like they give you tons of insider information about like what it was like to film, and like they have a bunch of people on. They have like the creator on. They have other people on the show on. So like I wasn't even like a huge Scrubs fan, but I've always kind of like watched it. But now I'm like really looking at it in a different way, and like it's been really fun. I highly recommend it.
I might have to try that. I've watched I think the first few seasons of Scrubs. I haven't seen the show in its entirety, but that show, the second episode, I remember. I think it's either the second or third episode. I'm just weeping.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, and this is the first season.
Yeah, it's a beautifully written show, and I think like now it seems people kind of make fun of it now, but I think it's because a lot of shows copied it. Mm-hmm. So it kind of seems like it's a cliche, but but I think they were the first show to do a ton of these things that you see regularly on shows now, like the flashbacks, like the imagined sequences, and like having those sort of wrap ups at the end where all the storylines come together and they do like a voiceover, which seems a little cheesy now because like, you see like Modern Family doing it every episode or something, but they were really the first people to do that. And they talk a lot about that in the show. It's so interesting. It's just like, I love things where they pick apart writing and, talk about why they did what they did.
Yeah.
Well, and in terms of also like being a doctor show, like a lot of doctors, like, they watch ER or Grey's Anatomy and tell you like this would never actually happen. And Scrubs is actually a pretty accurate depiction of what it's like to be a doctor and work at a hospital and like go through residency and stuff.
Yeah, because they say in the show, and I didn't realize this, the creator of the show, Bill Lawrence, is based on his best friend who's a surgeon. So, and his name is actually JD. So they, and he was the medical consultant on the show. So it really is like totally, they said they decided that all the medical stuff is going to be 100% accurate, and that's not where the jokes are going to be. The jokes are going to be in the characters.
Oh, and the characters are so great. The gentleman that plays the janitor.
I love him.
You mean the dad from Mean Girls?
I love that they leaned into the fact that he was an extra in the movie The Fugitive.
Yeah,
like he was the cop in The Fugitive. And they like leaned into that. Like they weren't. Yes, Neil Flynn.
In the podcast, they say that all of his lines are improvised on Scrubs.
That's insane.
So they said that the script would just say Neil said something funny.
He's in an improv. Oh, Mike!
I'm so sorry. I have a fun Neil Flynn story that I wanted to share, and I didn't want to type it.
Please.
A friend of mine lived in LA, and she went to one of the old improv theaters, and she knew I was a big fan of Scrubs and of him. He came out, and she said, "Hey, would you mind like leaving a voicemail for or calling my friend Mike?" I was going on stage for a show, so I couldn't answer the phone. I was like, "Oh, Chrissy's calling me. I can't answer." I get back and listen to the voicemail, and it's Neil Flynn. And he goes, "Hey, Mike, it's Neil. Listen, I know the last time we saw each other, it didn't end well. Fists were thrown, blood was spilled, but you know what? Hey, I miss you, man." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Oh, and I was shaking.
Did you save that? Did you save?
I saved it until I had to get a new phone, and then it's gone. But I had it for about 5 years.
Exported it. I love it.
Sorry to come in. Just wanted to share.
That's a great.
We need to buy you a cameo where he talks about your breakup.
Yes.
Oh God, I would love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is in an improv group called, I believe it's Bear Shark Mouse or Bear Shark Mice.
Beer Shark Mice.
Beer Shark.
He's coming back.
Perfect.
I knew he would. Yeah. So look that up on YouTube. They've got some really good, like some really good bits on there. Chloe, what are you watching right now?
Oh, I already. Well, I guess
I
did talk about the Great Flower Fight. Currently. Oh, what am I? Oh, I just started Broad City.
You just started it?
I'm a little ashamed to admit that I'm a little bit behind on the Broad City train.
Broad City is so good.
It's one of those things that, like, so part of the reason that I haven't even finished The Office. Like, I'm a little bit behind in terms of like my comedy studies. But part of the reason that I started watching The Office was part of it was for like comedic studying purpose, like learning for comedy. And the other part of it was so many men on Bumble just include The Office in their profile. Like they liking The Office is a personality trait, apparently.
No.
So I had to figure out like why.
Not a good one, evidently.
I think you should just never watch it and then make it the thing that you say, oh, I've actually never seen The Office, and then just wait for the paragraphs to roll.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
The Office is good, but it's like it's like the Harry Potter of books. It's like it's good, but like, come on, watch another show.
Yeah.
Or like pick another thing to tell people that you like, because like, yeah, we all like The Office. So
everyone likes it's like including the things that you come across. So you've got like the fish picture, although that has gone down recently. I think people are people have realized it's too much of a trope. There's The Office. People talk about liking beer, pizza, and tacos, and it's like everybody likes those things. Or actually, here's one that I see a lot is that they'll list photography as one of their hobbies, but then none of their pictures are any good.
Yeah.
Like maybe they like looking at photography.
What'd you say?
A poster that says graphic design is my passion, and then it's just Comic Sans and like triangles.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I've just been doing my research, you know.
Yeah, as well you do. I'm watching The Boys.
It's so good.
The Boys. I mean, the second season of The Boys just started. I also just finished the second season of Umbrella Academy, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. But the second season of The Boys is rough.
Yep.
Like it's good, but like the first season was kind of hard to watch. It's super dark. And the second season does not let up on that. In fact, they kind of double down.
It's like why I like it though, because most superhero things are so corny, and like at the end of the day, it's like, and yet justice has prevailed. And here it's like, if people were really superheroes, they'd be so corrupt.
They'd be garbage.
It'd be terrible.
They were more powerful than all the rest of us. Like, yeah, of course they'd take advantage of that. So it's like more.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I love it.
And I'm a huge fan of the MCU. Like I will watch.
Oh yeah.
I will watch anything that Marvel puts out under the MCU. I will watch it.
Black Widow's coming out. I'm very excited.
I cannot wait to see that show. It's got the sheriff from Stranger Things in it.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see, because he's very, very funny.
I love him.
And I actually enjoyed his version of Hellboy. When he did the Hellboy movie, I actually enjoyed his version of Hellboy, even though people did not care.
You know, my favorite work of his is the Tide commercials. This whole show is actually a Tide commercial.
This whole show. So yeah, but The Boys is so good. So definitely, if you're into that kind of thing, if you don't mind seeing what the inside of a whale looks like, then watch The Boys. If that's not your thing, now
I have to watch.
Check out the Nanny McPhee movies.
But not Finding Nemo.
Or Pinocchio, because you'll see the inside of a whale there.
And there's so many more movies than I ever would have thought.
feature
Not
whale
the
guts.
Bible.
Also, don't read the Bible. Yeah, I was
Spoiler alert, you guys.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Don't read them. Just don't read the Bible.
What a mess Jonah has gotten himself into. That Jonah, he's always messing
What's
around.
gonna happen? Y'all, that is almost all the time we have. So Lucy, Rebecca, thank you both so much for
Thank
being
you.
on the show
Thank
today.
you guys.
Thanks for having me.
So fun.
And check out everybody's Instagrams and Twitters, and we'll post those on our Facebook as well, so you can have those in one nice handy little spot. So that is one thing I want to bring up before we close is that we are still doing this AIDS walk for AIDS Action here with Fenway Health, because 2MB Studios is partnering with Fenway Health. We just recently hosted their donor appreciation night last week, which was so much fun. But it was really cool to see all the stuff that they have done. And we've put a walk team together. So the walk is happening. It's October 18th. I can't tell. No, that's the best part of the
gosh. Oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening. Oh,
Sorry,
no.
that's
Back.
Oh,
That cat's walking. That cat is raising money.
Yeah, she's
that
doing
cat-
it.
yeah. So you can become part of our team. Our team is called the Breadheads, and we're very excited to be doing this walk. So we will post the link for that as well. You can go on, donate $15, and you can walk with us. And it's basically everybody's going to be walking their own. I think it's 3.5 miles, and people are just going to choose whatever place they want, however they want to walk, just like that cat. If you want to.
I'm so
This is the
sorry.
best part of the show. What's
Yeah.
the cat's name?
Her name is Zora.
Oh my god. So perfect.
Yeah, no, this is you, Lucy. You don't know what you've done to our audience. They are here
They
for
love this cat.
love whenever cats or dogs, whenever we can bring a cat onto camera, people are into it.
Good.
So people are also into raising money for AIDS research. So so check that out, and we can all walk together in October. It will be a wonderful day, and we're going to be hosting the walk right here on 2MB Studios, where it's going to be a virtual walk. It's going to be great. Very excited for it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's our show, Chloe.
That's our show.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, thanks to Lucy and Rebecca for joining us. And we will see you next Monday.
Goodbye, world.
Bye.
Open up your window, let the sun in. Lift your weary head up to the sky. Open up your window, let the sun in. And sing out with your arms stretched open wide. Hello world.